Hello, how are you? Thanks for following along and thanks for reaching out to hear my story. And the reason I'm sharing it is I think that so many women can actually benefit from this, and a lot of people don't know about it and how easy it is. Anyway, I'll go back to the start. Also, this is a dress that I've bought for my holidays. I'll show you now in just a second. So I'm 50 years of age. I'm size 16, big 16, comfortable size 18. I would have been a size 26 at my highest. I was trapped in the toxic diet culture for about 35 years, and I repeated the same thing over and over again. Restrict my food, relapse into binging, regain all of the weight that I would have lost, and then I would have repeated that cycle again. So it's the 4 R's: restrict, relapse, regain, and repeat. 35 years. Can you even imagine how many diets I had been on? And then back in September 2022, I heard about Ozempic. So I did my level best to try and kind of find out as much as I could about it. I went into my doctor's, asked my doctor. He said, no, absolutely not. We don't know enough about it, even though it had been out at that point for 18 years, 17 years, I think. So I did what anybody would do, which I never recommend for anyone to do. I went online, I found an online doctor, I got Ozempic, and it changed my life. I would have lived with food noise for 35 years. If you don't know what food noise is, it's like a radio that's going on in the back of your mind all the time, but the only signal that's coming through is for you to eat food, is for you to ruminate about food every single day, get up out of bed, and the first thing you think about when you open your eyes is food. What am I going to eat? How many calories does it have? Am I allowed? How many sins does it have? And that just cycle repeated and repeated forever. Like, it felt like forever. So then, let me show you my dress. So then, when I took the Ozempic, I think it took about 2 weeks, and that food noise completely disappeared. And I didn't actually realise it at the start when food noise did quieten down, because I didn't know I had food noise. I didn't know what food noise was. I'd never heard about it. Nobody's ever used that term before. Of course, it's bandied around all the time now. But I spent 1.5 years on Ozempic, and I lost 4 stone. And then it stopped working, and that's usually what happens when your body has lost quite a bit of weight. You plateau. And then I moved on to Mounjaro after Ozempic, and I lost another 3 stone. So I've 7 stone gone, but the most amazing thing about that 7 stone loss is I've kept it off, apart from a few pounds here and there, but they drop again. So I think I'm at the point now where this is me. I've lost 7 stone. I'm not really going to lose any more weight. I will never come off of Mounjaro. If the new drug retatrutide comes in 2 years' time, I'll be taking that as well. I have the disease of obesity. It is a long life chronic disease, and I've toothpaste in my mouth this whole video. Not terrible. As with any other chronic disease, you stay on the medication. If you come off the medication, the disease will return. End of. So I use the company MyBMI. It is an online company. You go log on there, you do your consultation. It's all online now, and you don't have to speak to anybody. It's a online form, and then that gets sent off to a consultant. The consultant looks over it, and then he decides whether or not you are okay to take Mounjaro or whatever, Wegovy or Ozempic, and then you get an email to say yes, you have been qualified for it. Now the qualifications are that you need a BMI of over 27, and you have, when you're doing the consultation, before you do it, you would need a photograph of yourself, front and side, holding up on a piece of paper today's date and your weight and your BMI. Then you would send that off to them. And then you would get an email to say, yes, okay, that's fine. Here's your payment link. Pay us the money and we'll send it down to you. Usually takes about 48 hours for the medication to arrive at your door. It's in a brown box. Nobody knows what it is. Nothing's written on the outside. Now, I have a referral code. I'll put it up here. And if you do decide to go with MyBMI, you will get 40 euros off your first consultation. So I think that brings your first consultation and your medication down to 240 euros for the month. It is an expensive medication, everybody knows this, but I could never really think of it now as in terms of finance. I have to think of it in terms of health and longevity, because having lost 7 stone, my health has gone from being in the bin to being at about 100% of what it was used to be. My mental health has just gone from strength to strength. My confidence has gone from strength to strength. My relationships with the people around me have gone strength to strength purely because I'm a happier person now. I'm living the life that I've always wanted to live. So if you are interested in joining My BMI, before you do the online consultation, make sure that you have your debit card, make sure that you have your 2 photographs taken, make sure that you know your My BMI and your weight, and have my €40 off code ready as well. And when you get to the checkout point, you put in the code. It'll say, you know, enter code. Put it in there, Bob's your uncle, €40 off. And I really hope that helps, because I know that there are so many people out there now that, you know, have heard about Mounjaro and heard about Ozempic, but actually haven't a clue how they would even go about it. And for some people, they've been to their doctor and their doctor would have said, you know, no, I don't want to give it to you. But My BMI are really good. If those consultants think you're a good applicant for it, then they will give it to you. They're really good, and the support you get from them is really good as well. And also, you can find me here on Facebook if that's where you found me, and you can also find me on Instagram on the same name, GLP1 Insights. And you can DM me, ask me any questions or whatever, and I would be absolutely delighted to help. So yeah, I hope that helps. Now, I'm going to tell you about my dress, if you have time. It's from Marks and Spencer's. I think it was €60. So I have the tag on it, and it's a size 18. I think it's, yeah, no, it is. It's a Puruna range. So I got it in the charity shop for €10. If you don't know me, I love charity shops. Anyway, reach out to me if you've got any more questions.